So, my dude, you finally made it to pro ball. You get to Vancouver, where you're playing in beautiful Not Bailey Stadium. You're playing in front of crowds. You're pitching really well. You frick, man, your whip was under one while you were a Canadian, which is incredible as a reliever. Did you see your call up to Double A coming? How did they let you know you were going to New Hampshire?
Yeah, so that's another good story here. So to answer the first question, I kind of was playing the game where I was trying to anticipate when it was going to happen. And obviously you kind of see it coming in a way because you see, okay, I know we had two guys get promoted right before I did, and from the bullpen, which was Jimmy Burnett and Thomas Rui, and I kind of expected those two to be the first two to get moved, and and then at that point I was like, oh, maybe I'm next. If there is another guy, it could be me, and that happened for like a month. So at a certain point, I was like, I got to stop thinking about this because you can drive yourself crazy, thinking about it. So I just kind of shut that down. And to answer the next question, we're coming back from the All Star break, and we had like 3 days off, I think it was. So I think we trying to get the timeline right. I think we came back on a Thursday. We had a game in Spokane, which is about an 8-hour bus ride, and we're in the middle of this ride, like 4 hours into it, in some random city in Washington, where we stopped to eat. And then we get off the bus, and Brent Lavalley, the manager there, calls me over. He's like, "Hey, come here," and I'm like, I knew exactly as soon as he said, "Hey, come here," I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" Because we're
You're
four
like, I've
hours
been
into this.
pitching way too well. I'm not getting cut right now.
I was like, "This is." I was like, "They're this right now," and he comes over. He's like, "Hey, you just got promoted to Double A." I'm like, "Oh man, you couldn't have flew me out of Vancouver. I got so I had to take the next 4 hours to
Amazing.
Spokane, and then actually me and Alejandro Melian got promoted together, which it's kind of funny because they flew us up to Vancouver together also. So we got promoted twice together. Even though
That's
he
cool.
wasn't in playing for the Dunedin Blue Jays, he was coming out of rehab because he had
Yeah.
pulled his hamstring thing. So they sent us up there together, and then we went to Double A together, and we actually missed our flight from Spokane. We had to get up at like 4 a.m. and go to the airport. We missed the flight, so then they had to fly us to L.A. and then we flew L.A. to Boston, and then met the team up in New Hampshire. So it was a long
Just a
trip. It
nice,
was like
simple 4 plane ride, just like a bus. Yeah.
it was interesting.
Um, out of, out of curiosity, my guy, uh, who are some of the guys in the system that help you make the transition to pro ball? Because I'm sure there were a few like coaches or teammates that just stood out to you that just made it that much easier to start your pro ball career.
Yeah, well, I would really have to go back to indie ball, to be honest, because I played with so many guys that had already played affiliate ball. Pretty much
Mhm.
everybody on that roster in Milwaukee, I would say, I think we had 26 guys, and like 22 of them had prior affiliate experience, and we had three guys that had big league time. So like that was amazing for me, to be honest, because it transitioned me so well. They taught me the ropes of like, hey, this is how it's going to be when you get to affiliate ball. And really, I mean, and our pitching coach was a former big leaguer, Dan Runzel. He pitched for the Giants for a couple years, and those guys really helped me a lot because I had no idea, the pro routine. You come from college where you're used to doing things a certain way to the pro ball lifestyle, and it's a lot different. So having those guys to my disposal was really helpful.
What is the biggest difference between independent baseball and affiliate ball? Because I think there's a misconception about independent ball that maybe it's a pretty big step down, and it really isn't, is it?
Not at all. I mean, the American Association, especially. I mean, it depends what league. I would say
Of
that.
course.
There's several, probably 3 to 4 leagues at the top of indie ball where they're just as competitive as double A. I would say high A, somewhere in there. Where like it's older guys. I played with a couple guys that were 30 years old and super experienced that had played many years of AAA. Like I
Right.
said, years of big, several guys that played a year plus in the bigs. So the competition wise, it's just as tough for sure. I would say the biggest difference is the dynamic of the entire organization, right? So we have 4 to 5 affiliates and have so many guys that throws a kind of a wrench in the dynamic a little bit. To whereas indie ball,
Mhm.
you're only dealing with 25 to 30 teammates, and it's very strange. Like you get to we get to the complex in Dunedin and there's 100 guys, and that whole dynamic is kind of interesting, I guess. I would say that's probably the biggest difference for me.
Thanks for watching this clip of our interview with Ryan Boyer, Blue Jays pitching prospect now in Double A. You can catch the full interview right here over on our main channel. As well, don't forget we've got Joe Siddle from Sportsnet joining us this week, I believe on Wednesday, breaking down all the news from the GM winter meetings. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.